All right. All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Wicomico County Council Legislative Session 2026-05 for March 3rd, 2026. Tonight, our invocation is from Ms. Cheryl Lang from the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship Church. Is Ms. Lang here? It appears no. So our new protocol when this happens is we're going to observe a moment of silence, please. So if we could do that. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion from council to approve the consent agenda. Oh. Forgot that one. That one's important. For those that wish to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please do.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Hurley. Now I'll entertain a motion from council to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda passes unanimously. Tonight we had a proclamation to recognize Endometriosis Awareness Month. Unfortunately, the representative could not be here. She's not feeling well, so we're going to present that proclamation on the next meeting in March. But we do tonight have several certificates of appreciation to recognize the efforts of our county departments during the recent snowstorm and severe weather that I'm sure everybody is glad is in the rear view mirror. So we'll do them one at a time, but at the end, if we could all get everybody back together for a group picture. And because President Cannon is not here, the proclamations have not been signed by him. So if we could actually get them back, we will have him sign them and get them back out to you. So first up is the Department of Public Works, Councilman James Wynn. Bring everybody up from Public Works, because you all had a big hand in that. That was a huge operation you guys did.
Come on up here. It's not an odd thing for you guys to be up here. Thanks. Come on back here. Hey, Chris. Come on, sit over. So we have the Department of Public Works here, and I just want to say that I do appreciate everything that you guys do. For fun, I called Adam up and I said, hey, what are you doing? And he invited me to come out with a chainsaw, and we went down and cut some trees and moved some branches all night. And I didn't realize I'd be there till 9:30 at night, but now I got a dose of reality of what these guys have to do with during a winter storm. And they don't stop at 4 o'clock, they work until the job's done. So this is why we're here doing this appreciation, and I hope they all recognize that we do appreciate them. So I'm going to read this. Okay. It is with great pleasure that the members of Wicomico County Council extend a certificate of appreciation to Wicomico County Department of Public Works. On behalf of the citizens of Wicomico County, the Wicomico County Council hereby thanks the entire Department of Public Works for their response effort during the 2026 winter storm. Thank you for your service to our community done this day, March 3rd, 2026. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire Department of Public Works, it is absolutely an honor to be up here with these gentlemen and the others that aren't represented here tonight. Some of them are still catching up on sleep, and that's the truth. Believe it or not, we still have cleanup operations going on in this county even to this moment. We had many, many roads that had to be made passable with one lane and one lane only during a storm that I think the majority of us, including us that have lived here our whole lives, at least at this age, may not have seen anything like it before, especially as it pertained to tree fall. Scott, as the superintendent of roads, Ian as the operations supervisor, we've made a significant number of improvements and tweaks to our efficiencies. And I think, folks, we're really proud of the work product. And I think it showed this time that the Department of Public Works work together as one united front against whatever we have to overcome in this county. And the people that you see behind me and the ones that aren't here tonight, there's over 80 of them. They did a hell of a job, and my hat's off to them. Marcus, I really want to give you an extra special shout out. Ladies and gentlemen, we replaced 3 phones and 3 radio sets in about an hour's time because they all melted down during that storm. When I say that, I mean that phones left and right and radios were so busy with the number of trees being called in, roads that were going impassable in the middle of the night, most of them pulling 32 and a half, 35-hour shifts straight with very little rest or stopping. And Marcus, you were the center hub right there at DPW, communicating out to all the other groups, and that was a huge, huge undertaking for you, and you kept it all straight. Solid waste employees, they hit it out of the park and got our landfill operation back up and running in record time. And we just couldn't thank you enough, James, for recognition, council, and we're ready to do it again, but we'd like to have at least a year or 2 off. Later? Okay. Right.
Yeah, let's do an individual picture now, and then we'll do a group at the end.
Behind or in front?
I think in the front.
In front.
Go ahead. Go, guys. Come on. CW cut his hair for this. Yeah. Shh. Don't know about it. Go ahead, man. That's all right, buddy. Get me as far back in the back as possible. They're good. All right.
Okay, that's it. Can everyone see me?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Thank you, gentlemen. Job well done. Next up, we would like to recognize the Department of Emergency Services. I think we have Mr. Cropper, Mr. Chrysler, and Councilwoman Shaney Shields will be presenting.
It gives me great pleasure that the members of the Wicomico County Council extend this certificate of appreciation to the Wicomico County Department of Emergency Services. On behalf of the citizens of Wicomico County, the Wicomico County Council hereby thanks the entire Department of Emergency Services for the response effort during the February 26 winter storm. Thank you for your service to our community done this 3rd day of March 2026. Signed, except for John, Wicomico County Council. Come here.
Thank you.
And she
Renzo, you want to say a couple words up? Then we'll get a picture of you and Shaney.
Well, I'm not really the one. I'm just the face of the department. There was Sunday night, we had 5 dispatchers working, and I was there and a couple others, and I will tell you, I went in, I don't know, probably 1 o'clock, midnight, into the 911 center itself, and for about the next 4 hours, every dispatcher had a phone and a radio in their hand almost all the way through. So I will tell you, it was definitely a hectic time. But again, I really want to let them know I really appreciate them for what all they did more than anything else.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want to come in? You want to hold it?
Gentlemen, thank you. Job well done. You doze, but you never close, right? All right, next up, we have the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office, and we have Sheriff Mike Lewis and Councilman Hastings.
You know, this past weekend, actually, it was actually nice to talk to a couple of the deputies. I went to the Tim Kennard River Run race, and as I was leaving, it was nice to actually, to talk to some of the sheriff's office folks, and just to be able to recognize that they're not just there for public safety for amazing events like that, which is its own orchestra to pull together, but also for really vital things and really scary things like winter storms. And we are recognizing this one as the February 2026 winter storm, but this was not the only winter storm we've had. So thank you, Sheriff Lewis, and all the folks for coming up for all this. So it is with great pleasure that members of the County Council extend the certificate of appreciation to the County Sheriff's Office. On behalf of Wicomico County Council, I hereby thank the Sheriff's Office for your incredible response, due diligence, for being out there and just responding as best you can, and working with the team, which we are doing our best to try to acknowledge that. So on behalf of the Wicomico County, thank you for your service to our community. Signed everyone, except for John, done this third day of March 2026. Sheriff Lewis?
Good evening. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, members of the council. These two deputies, to my immediate left is Corporal Andrew Riggin. To my immediate right is Deputy Sadie Shores. These were two of many deputies that worked all day long throughout the blizzard. And I can tell you, when I came out early that morning, they were all over this county. And without county roads, clearing the roads and cutting all the trees, we couldn't have gotten to our destinations. And we have people stranded all over this county, as you well know. But these two were front and center during the entire blizzard. I can't thank them both enough. I was blessed to have pizza with both of them at the sheriff's office that afternoon. We had a pizza party, and but then they had to go right back out and get busy again on the road. So thank you guys so much. It's a blessing to be able to lead the men and women with the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office, especially when we have challenging times like we had last week with this blizzard, an unprecedented storm, certainly unprecedented in the last 20, 25 years. No question about it. So thank you all for the recognition tonight.
Thank you.
Andrew, I want you to hold this and say, yep, absolutely.
Thank you all. Okay, next up we have, we want to recognize the Wicomico County Volunteer Fire Companies, and we have the President of the Chiefs Association, Curtis Kennedy, and President of the Volunteer Firefighters Association, John Hilton, and Councilman Ennis will be doing the honors.
We'll say last but not least, by any means. It is with great pleasure that the members of the Wicomico County Council extend this certificate of appreciation to the Wicomico County Volunteer Fire Departments. On behalf of the citizens of Wicomico County, the County Council hereby thank the Wicomico Volunteer Fire Departments for their response efforts during the February 2026 winter storm. Thank you for your service to our community, done this third day of March 2026, Wicomico County Council. And I just forged John's name on here, so it's okay. No.
On behalf of all the chiefs in Wicomico County and the volunteers, I want to thank everybody for bearing with us. We couldn't have done it without anybody in this room. They helped us out, and we appreciate you all at the same time. Thank you.
Thanks.
stay right there. Just wanna do a picture.
Yeah, can we try and get everybody back in? This is
right in front.
This is going to be like organizing cats.
You want them back here, Jeff, or?
Maybe, Laura, what do you think?
I think right-
Against the wall?
Yeah, right in front
Okay.
of the curtain.
I think most of the public works guys are out in the lobby.
Yeah. Come on, Scott. Bring them on in.
Line up.
Against the back wall. Get everybody spread out.
It's a lineup.
Good too.
And maybe just a couple of you, like, yeah, something like that, to squeeze in as much as you can.
And you like each other.
You two right there, you're a little shorter, do you mind?
You know that was recorded, right? You know that's on record.
That's right. They're mighty. Here, hold on, they're mighty.
Okay, I think I have everyone, you can all see me, right? Okay. You're good.
All right, thank you all.
Man, see you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks for serving.
Okay. Next up, it looks like we have a public hearing. Mr. Benson.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, we have Legislative Bill 2026-01. It is here for a public hearing. It is an act to amend Chapter 225 of the Wicomico County Code titled Zoning, Part 3, titled Basic Definitions and Interpretations, Article 6, titled Terms Defined, Section 225-25, titled Definitions of Basic Terms, and Part 6, titled Accessory and Principal Uses, Article 17, titled Accessory Uses, Section 225-59, titled Accessory Uses and Structures, and Part 6, titled Accessory and Principal Uses, Article 18, titled Principal Uses, Section 225-67, titled Table of Permitted Uses, Designations, and Part 7, titled Density and Dimensional Regulations, Article 19, Density and Dimensional Regulations, Section 225-68, titled Residential Density, and Part 8, titled Special Standards for Particular Uses, Article 20, titled Uses and Standards, enumerated, Section 225-86, titled Dwelling Hardship Housing, Section 225-87, titled Dwelling Manufactured Home Double Wide, Section 225-88, titled Dwelling Manufactured Home Single Wide, and Section 225-89, titled Dwelling Tenant House, to amend the zoning requirements for manufactured and modular housing. We have Tracy Taylor from zoning, planning and zoning here, along with Andrew Illuminati, if there are any questions. This is an act to basically bring the Wicomico County into compliance with legislation that has been mandated by the state of Maryland that relates primarily to manufactured and modular housing.
Does public hearing, anybody with any comments, questions, come to the podium, please? See none. I'll entertain a motion from council to approve Legislative Bill 2026-01.
So moved.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
I have a question, Mr. Vice President.
Tracy, you want to come up and help us through this? This one's complicated, isn't it?
It can be.
Many layers.
Has it ever been decided whether a homeowners association will trump this law? And if it's not, will it be at some point in time brought up to where we will know whether, right now you kind of have to give a building permit, but if it's in a home, in a neighborhood that has a homeowners association, will there, what do you call it, HOA or?
The restrictions and covenants.
Yeah, covenants, yeah. Would that trump this law? Do we know that yet?
We've added language to our building permit now that says that issuance of this building permit does not necessarily mean that it complies with, not in these exact words, it doesn't comply with homeowners' restrictions and covenants, that you still need to check with the homeowners association. We've done that as a means of protection for the county and also to put the applicant on notice that the bill is silent with regard to HOAs. I think Mr. Illuminati can speak to the legal part of that, but from the county perspective, we've added that language to the building permit to cover us in case there is a dispute.
There's nothing in state law which states that this overrides the HOA. There has been other legislation which the legislature has passed that explicitly delineates that the state law trumps the HOA. So this legislation's been in effect for about 18 months. I'm not aware of any appellate court decisions on the matter. Maybe there are some trial court cases going on across the bridge, but I know Somerset just recently enacted something to become compliant, as did Worcester. So from the lower shore, there's not been anything. So from HOA would have very good grounds to articulate that their restrictions and covenants control if they prohibit these types of dwellings within their communities.
I would say openly, publicly, though, this is probably a good opportunity for HOAs to, if they've become stagnant, to become active again and to elect their members of their HOA board and to make sure their restrictions and covenants are up to date, because if it is challenged, that could be an issue for them if the HOA has not been operating as such for some time.
Well, it was brought up, I talked to a gentleman the other day, and in fact, I called Mr. Illuminati about it. One HOA that we know of, it's built out. There are no homes, there's no lots left in that HOA to be sold, but there could be like a home that caught fire and they had tore it down, and there would be an opportunity for this to happen if it was allowed. So that was their concern. So anyway, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, thank you.
What about the municipalities? They are not exempt from this, right?
They are not, and the planning department has reached out to all the municipalities, even the city of Salisbury, who does have, quite a bit of planners on staff. We've reached out to all of them. We're going to schedule quarterly meetings once this session of the legislature gets done, the General Assembly, and we're going to go over all the legislation that's been passed and the changes that need to occur to their various zoning ordinances, and we'll provide assistance in-house with the planning staff as we can, to help them understand the revisions that they need to make, not just with this bill, but other legislation that was passed last session with accessory dwelling units, and then potentially more legislation that's coming forth this session.
Is this going to inhibit your department to do your job?
I don't think so. As far as the assistance to the municipalities, it'll require a little bit more effort, but to be quite honest, I think that's part of what the county should do where we can, is lend assistance within reason to the municipalities, because they don't have any staff, and it's a good opportunity for our planners to see firsthand what community planning is all about and where deficiencies lie, where we can step in and assist. I'm a big believer in that. Within our department, it will not make any difference within our department. It'll just be the way in which we view manufactured and modular housing. We track it differently, we view it differently. Now we're changing all our reports and we're just listing everything now as single-family dwellings. The same way with our annual report, which you'll see in a couple of months.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, James.
I just wanted everyone to make sure we're all clear here. This is something that the state of Maryland is doing. This is not Wicomico County. This is something that's being mandated. And whether we vote for this or not, it's still something you have to uphold. Is that correct?
It is preemptive legislation. We're required to change our local zoning code to adhere to the state legislation.
So we don't really have a say on any of this legislation, nor would I want any of this to happen. But it doesn't seem like we really have an option. Yeah.
Yes, correct. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my head. Yes, correct.
Any further discussion, comments, or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of Legislative Bill 2026-01, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr.
The
Vice
ayes have it.
President, that one you should do by...
You want to do a roll call?
Correct.
Okay, Councilman Holloway?
Aye.
Councilman Hastings?
Aye.
Councilman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilman Shields?
Aye.
Councilman Ennis?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so it is unanimous.
Mr. Merritt, I would like to mention to the other council members that if you have an HOA in your district, you may want to contact them and bring them up to date on.
So they're active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Thanks, Joe.
Tracy, real quick, there's no mechanism for the county right now, I don't believe, for HOAs to register, or there's no requirement for them to register annually or anything like that, right? We don't have anything in place?
I believe they're required to register with the court system, with the circuit court.
Under state law, but like at a county registration level, there's nothing.
No.
Nothing, okay.
No, we don't have a county one, no.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Benson.
Mr. Vice President, we're here on introducing Legislative Bill 2026-03, an act to amend Chapter 200 of the Wicomico County Code titled Subdivision of Land, Article 1 titled General Provisions, Section 200-4 titled Term Defined, General Requirements to amend the subdivision regulations to remove the set-aside requirement for minor subdivisions in the agricultural rural zoning district. And Ms. Taylor and Mr. Illuminati are here for that as well, and I will defer to them as to explain what the purpose of it is.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion from council to approve the introduction of Legislative Bill 2026-03.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Comments or questions?
This is state mandated.
Yeah.
Legislation coming down from planning and zoning, correct? That we don't really have we can't alter this at all?
We can. This is, if I may?
Yeah, please.
This is related to years ago in 2012, when the septic law was passed. During that time, and that is state legislation, during that time, the state gave the local jurisdictions the ability to amend their definition of a minor subdivision. If a local jurisdiction allowed anything less than 7 lots for a minor, they allowed them to increase it to that level. So we did amend our definition to allow us to get the greatest number of lots under a minor subdivision. But in doing so, we added an additional sentence to our amendment at that time, saying that minor subdivisions other than those excluded in 200-3A, and that's a section of the subregs, shall be subject to all set-aside requirements. That sentence should not have been included because later in the subdivision regs, in the set-aside requirements, it only pertains to major subdivisions in the A1 zoning district. So by adding that additional sentence when we did the amendment back in 2012, we inadvertently made minor subdivisions have to comply with set-aside, which was never the intent of the code. So really, this is a corrective measure to an amendment we did based on a state law.
So just for clarity, not something that the state has done for us recently, something that was we reacted to a state bill from 14 years ago. We're just correcting a mistake we made 13 or 14 years ago or whatever.
Correct. By adding that sentence, we created an inconsistency within our own subdivision regulations. And we've actually had applicants come to us for minor subdivisions that we were requiring set aside, and they were saying, well, wait a minute, in another section of your code, it says minor subdivisions aren't subject to that. And that brought forth the inconsistency, and that's what we're correcting. We still have set aside for people that have called me, for the record, we still have set aside for the way it was intended for major subdivisions in the A1 zoning district. There is the 50% set aside. That stays in place. This is just for minors.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the introduction of Legislative Bill 2026-03, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, unanimous.
Mr. Vice President, we can have the public hearing on that bill on April the 7th at 6 PM.
6 p.m. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hurley. And you are up for a public hearing.
Next on the agenda is a public hearing on resolution number 46-2026. This is approving a priority letter for the Maryland Department of Transportation's FY 27 through fiscal year 2032 Consolidated Transportation Program. Each year, counties send a letter to the Maryland Department of Transportation that highlight local priorities for system preservation, expansion projects, safety improvements, and planning initiatives. The projects proposed by the county executive have been submitted for review and are available for public comment.
Entertain a motion from council to approve Resolution 46-2026.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
This is a public hearing.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So this is a public hearing. Anybody with any comments, questions, or concerns, please come to the podium. State your name and county of residence. Seeing none. Mr. Atkins.
Jim Atkins, Wicomico County. Short and sweet. This has been in this priority letter for 4 years that I'm aware of. If the council's going to sign their name to something, I would hope that the council would want the information to be accurate that they're sending up to the state. For 4 years, I've stood up here and told you that the bridge washed out in 2016. Your priority letter says 2015 for Barron Creek Bridge. It's been cut and paste for 4 years. They won't even get the correct dates on the page. And the second thing more concerning is states in there that the need for the road is also stated by the Board of Ed for transportation. If anyone would talk to the Superintendent of the Board of Ed, Dr. Stauffer, he will tell you there have been no school buses on that road. They have no plans to put any school buses on that road, and that road means nothing to the Board of Ed. So you may want to postpone this until you get verification that what I'm telling you is what he's telling me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. Any more public comment? Find my place here. Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 46-2026, say aye.
Mr. Merritt, due to the fact that what Mr. Atkins said, should not we delay this until we find out if those comments are correct instead of voting on it?
Motion?
That's a motion.
Should we find out, is there a deadline on this? We make sure we're not losing the deadline.
It really doesn't matter if there's a deadline.
I mean, if we don't get any money because we've missed our deadline, the state's not going to give us any money.
If the information is incorrect.
Corey,
you want to?
Sure, please. Ms. Tracy's going to join me. This is a kind of collaborative effort between...
If you could, for the record, state your name.
Of course. Adam Corey, Acting Director of Public Works.
Tracy Taylor, Planning Director, Wicomico County.
So good evening, council again. So this one is a collaborative effort between the Department of Planning and Public Works. So certainly understand the comments there concerning Barron Creek. The one thing I do want to impart upon council, we can certainly get information to you tomorrow if need be to make some modifications here. There are multiple projects on this particular transportation priority letter that we, I would ask the council to consider the fact that if we need to make some modifications for you quickly, we can do that for Barron Creek or whatever else is on here. But we can't hold up these other projects there's a significant number of projects that affect not only the county, but municipalities, universities. So we want to make sure we go and suss those all out as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's an issue if the council wants to take an action on the letter with the revision to the date 2016 and elimination of school bus times and leave-in emergency services routing time and community travels and safety. I don't think that changes the intent of the desire to want to accomplish the the project. So we certainly can take those and make it a condition of approval.
Pretty happy to make that motion.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion, mine.
Second. You're making a motion to do what now?
You're good to fix the exact things that Mr. Atkins had
Amend
brought
the
up.
language.
So we'll
Okay.
change the date and then pull out the bus times, school bus times, and
Do we know that's accurate?
That's, I'm pretty sure it is, but we want to make sure. I think it ought to be,
yeah, it's nominal. Who cares what date it is? It doesn't matter if it's in 2012, 11, 12. I mean, the thing's been out, I don't know how many years I've
Been
seen
out
this
for a
road go out. Yeah, so regardless, it's got a problem. It needs to be fixed. I think it's fine to go with 2016. And, yeah, and as far as the bus people, yeah, you used to never be able to take a bus across there because the road was too small. Now, if we change the capacity of the road, the size of it, that maybe makes a difference, but you could never drive a bus across it, given the way that the road used to be.
I certainly support the letter being accurate, and I appreciate Mr. Atkins noting that, but I can tell you from my experience at Maryland Department of Planning when I worked for the state and being involved in many of these tours and pre-tours and priority letters, excluding school bus times and changing the date will have no bearing on the way that MDOT reviews this entirety of this letter. So we're happy, Adam, to do that and submit it with those changes if that's what the council desires.
I'll second Mr. Hastings' motion.
All in favor?
All in favor of
The motion?
motion? Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? It's unanimous, so
Sure.
you
And you
can,
have to do the motion and the vote on the resolution as amended.
as amended, okay. All those in favor of Resolution 46-2026 as amended, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously.
Got that one straight.
Okay, next is a public hearing on resolution number 47-2026. This is approving a IPTV cable franchise agreement between Wicomico County, Maryland and Talkie Communications, Inc., and to authorize the county executive to execute the agreement. The proposed cable franchise agreement is for a period of 10 years, and we have Mr. Bunky Luffman, our Director of Administration, here to answer any questions. And it is a public hearing.
Evening, Mr. Luffman. So anybody with any comments, questions, or concerns, please come to the podium. State your name and county of residence, please. Okay. Could you state your name left to right, please?
Mr. Mayor, we need to get a motion in a second.
Oh, sorry. Entertain a motion from council to approve Resolution 47-2026.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nope. Not yet. Next step. All right.
Charles Schmeckel.
Sorry, the meds are kicking in.
Charles Schmeckel, Deputy Finance Director.
Thank you, Charles.
Bonky Luffman, Director of Administration. So Charles is from Finance, as he said, and he's really read through the contract and was one of the first people to tackle the project. I also have John Monar here from IT if there's any technical. I believe there's someone from Talkie as well that's here. So if there's any questions, I think, we should be able to answer them. So.
Anybody have any questions? Discussion?
I do.
Go ahead.
I want to know, where is the cable going to be located? The cable service?
Yep. Now we're getting into if you could state your name, please.
Dennis Collison with Talkie Fiber.
Okay, thank you.
The cables are already in our infrastructure. It's in the county right-of-way along the roads and properties. It's IPTV, so it's over our fiber optic network that's in place or being completed at this time.
Is it the whole county?
No, it's not the whole county at this time.
I want to know. What part of the county?
We're all over the county. We're all the different points of the county. We're up in Pittsville and everything this way, and I mean we're all over the Grand areas.
Like Tyaskin, Sharptown, that area?
I don't believe so. No.
You guys are more on the east side of town, right?
Correct.
That's right.
Is this to supplement the coverage by Comcast, or
It's a product that we offer, excuse me, it's a product that we offer through our fiber network. It's just something to help the community, give them so that if they have our internet, they can have our TV.
Yeah, so it's not expanded service physically, it's just they're offering cable television now.
Correct.
So that's why they needed a franchise agreement, much like we have with Comcast.
Two areas that don't have it now, is that?
Yeah, I mean, we're able to offer it in any place where we have our facilities built out.
Essentially, you just want the ability to offer that, and that's why you're here today. Right. Without this agreement, you can't offer cable TV.
Correct.
That's why you're here. That's why they're here.
Okay. Any more discussion or questions? Now we can vote. All right. All right, seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 46-2026? 47, 2026, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously.
And next is Resolution Number 48-2026.
Thank you, gentlemen.
This is to establish a Westside Advisory Committee, and again, we have Mr. Bunky Luffman here to introduce this request.
I'm going to ask Captain Joe Lappin to come up. Again, Bunky Luffman, Director of Administration.
Mr. Mayor, we need first and second.
All right.
Sorry.
All those, excuse me, entertain a motion for council to approve Resolution 48, 2026.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? No? Not yet.
Discussion.
Discussion.
All right, discussion.
Yeah, Captain Joe Lappin, Wicomico County. We're in the Westside Community Task Force, and we're introducing the idea that we would like to actually present ourselves as a commissioned entity down on the West Side. We actually represent the West Side folks over there on that group, and we've been in existence for about 2 years now, and we've actually got a really good track record working with the public and the county council, as well as the executive here in Wicomico County. And some of the benefits that are presented with us to be able to do that is obviously using council chambers and PAC 14, some of the other issues that we can actually get a little more public access and then be able to sort of promote what we're doing on that west side, so that in our particular model, one of the things that I'm very good at is building bridges with the community, the executive, and also I've worked very closely with James and Mr. Merritt, and our track record stands in that 2 years that we've actually taken leaps and bounds, so we'd like to actually have you guys come up for consideration and maybe be able to discuss it and put it on the table.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I see on here, it says the West Side Advisory Committee.
Yes, ma'am. I think it's a misprint. Yeah, I think it's a misprint. We actually call it the Westside Community Task Force is what we've kind of named ourselves as.
So what name should you use?
We call it, yes, ma'am. We call ourselves Westside Community Task Force. So that would probably be a name change or a typo in the
Task Force.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Because it's two West Sides now, West Side in the city.
Yeah. Well, we still call it West Side. It's all everybody's included on the West Side. It's all West Side.
Yeah, because I had to call and find out, because I said I want to see that. Well, I would be a part of that.
Yeah. It's all the West Side.
Yeah.
Well, the captain would have you up for a meeting, I'm sure.
Shaney,
absolutely, yes, and it is
the Creighton trailer sales out west of Salisbury.
Yeah.
Creighton trailer sales.
Remember the old Creighton place?
Yeah.
Out west.
Yeah.
West of Salisbury.
Creighton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we actually do have a meeting following every council meeting, so that's something that might be mindful that anybody. We do, yes, and we're trying to get it localized so that obviously possibly we could use the chambers as part of that. So if anybody from the community, we welcome anybody. I don't care if you're north, south, east, west. Anybody can come, and we kind of help. What we do is we take our issues on the west side and I listen to the voice of the people, and then whatever the complaint or the problem, I don't care if it's ditches or mosquito spray, whatever, anything county related, then I actually build the bridge, and I find out who is responsible for it, and then at that point, basically make contact with the individual, and I would call you and say, hey, Shani, we've got this going on over such and such. You know, we need you to look into it for us, and how can we help these folks? And that's
mostly the people down the road, as they used to say, 349.
pretty much, yeah. It's everything on that whole west side, from almost to Sharptown all the way over to what's that, Nanticoke Road, and the Jeff's district, basically what you currently cover at this
Pemberton
moment.
Drive, that way.
Yes, ma'am. No.
Because part of Pemberton Drive is that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Shani, essentially, like, before this task force was formed, there was a need for some sort of community.
I met the first original people that came.
Yeah.
When they wanted to do the Bivell Community Center, which I thought was a great idea.
Yes.
But
yes.
I just wanted to just don't do the confusion.
It's two different groups.
It's two different
groups. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
And when you say, so because I think we had a task force or something years ago.
Yes, it was.
The county on this side. So I just don't want it confused.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're still existing.
No.
I think, and we kind of took the model. In fact, I don't know if you know, do you know Warren Taylor, Mr. Warren Taylor? He's down there at LZ United Methodist Church, but he actually did a lot over there with the community center, and so he was kind of a guiding force for me down there at LZ's, and he was an example of how he worked with the community and the county. I think he's got a long track record. Joe, you might know him. I don't know if you know, because of the time frame of how long ago it was that he's been there.
I'm going to inform other people in the west side of the county on this side to let them know it's not where the location is.
Yep.
So they won't be confused like I was.
Yes.
Whatever. The duties of what you described basically is the duties of what a county councilman that represents that district does. Has there been a shortcoming of a response from your council representatives on this, any of these matters?
Jeff and James?
Well, why not? Everybody else does.
It's a very good question. It's actually a great question, and I'll tell you how it actually got started. Actually, having slip ownership down there in Bivalve, I had a very difficult time getting the county to respond. I truly did. And
Was that due to a council member, or was that due to whoever handles the slip, which I guess would be Parks and Rec, or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, is that so? The problem with responding wasn't for a council member; it was from Parks and Rec.
Correct. And how the process kind of got started, and this is actually a good example of how this whole thing works. When we couldn't get the responses from the county that we needed for the Parks and Recs to take care of the problems that we were facing, what happened was that I actually said, okay, I've got to go up the chain. And in that particular case, I went to Mr. Wynn. And Mr. Wynn actually then introduced me to Mr. Merritt, and then obviously the chain started to build, and then now we have the connection. And I'll be honest with you, I have a great working relationship with these gentlemen. And so really, it's not a... if folks said, hey, would you run for a seat? I've been asked that. No, I don't. That's not something I want to do. What I want to do is build the bridge with you, any of the council members. I don't really care where it comes from, but I want to build the bridge between you guys, the county, Parks and Rec. Now the phone rings and it's Parks and Rec. It's Mr. Miller. I talked to him directly, and we solved the problems. But I'm talking to the watermen, I'm talking to the community, I'm talking to the residents that need ditches cleaned, mosquito spraying, trees trimmed. I have no complaint about the roads department. You guys did an excellent job on that. That kind of stuff. We're actually in the process now of building or getting a, what do you call it? Community watch down there, because we do have some outlying areas. So we've had the county sheriff's department out and they speak. So we coordinate all that, and then they give us direction. And then if I need money, then I come to Jeff, or if I need something to discuss with Julie or whatever, I'm first line of defense with those guys, and I can take it right to the community.
Sounds to me like you're getting the job done without forming a commission.
We are. And actually we've got a great track record, and to your point, that is actually very good. And I'll be honest with you, we win either way. What this does is it actually allows us, and if I'm not misunderstanding this, I'm allowed to use the council chambers, and we can have meetings. I can have anybody that would want to attend in the chambers, which I'm a very inclusive person, so I want, if the east side has something or the north side has something, I'll give you a good example, Conley Mill. They've got some things that they're looking at how we're structuring, and they want to see how we've accomplished our Cove Road and the issues that we've had at Cove, the issues that we've had at low funding over at Wicomico County. We brought that to Julie. Julie brought that up. It's been almost, almost 2 years ago. But we got more money just by building that bridge because we had Julie come and ask you guys, and I think they took that some out of the interest, some of the interest that the county had. So, yeah, you're right. And it really is a win-win. It's really more of a central Salisbury location that'll help it, and then in PAC 14 so people can see the recording of it.
Bunky, what's the history of us doing commissions like this? I don't think there is a history of...
I don't know one that's like this, but I think what Captain Joe is saying, they already have a task force, they're already doing it, but what he would like to do is to raise the profile by creating an official commission, and thereby extend their reach so that they can get more people involved and, pointing out things that need help and/or helping to provide solutions for it. So. I
just wanted to give you a little bit of background of this too. So when I was running for executive, I was told by numerous people on the in District 2 that they felt underrepresented. There were a lot of issues in District 2 that seemed to not be addressed. So one of the things that I talked about was helping them form a task force. I sent out specific letters to community leaders on the west side of the county. They all kind of came together and they sort of took it from there. So forming the commission, this is, it doesn't cost the county anything. This was a need in the county. They are making the county better. It's not anything against any council member or former council member or anybody who is in office now. It is a group of individuals that want to make the county better. They want to raise their profile and they would like to use council chambers. And it literally costs us nothing to do this. So these are all volunteers that are volunteering their time to say, we want to work with you, we want to work with the county, we want to work with the executive, and we'd like to utilize the council space.
Anybody can use the council chambers now, right?
I mean, I assume so, but I mean, they want to be commissioned, and that's what we're asking.
And anybody can use PAC 14.
Is that true? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they'd love for you to go over there. They love to teach people how to use their equipment and all that. Because we have several groups that do use PAC 14. I guess my only, we've not heard anything from Sharptown or Mardella or Hebron about this, endorsing it. And the other thing is, are we going to have 10 commissions in Wicomico County? What do you, so that's I guess that's my, sounds like you're doing a great job of what you're doing and really not needing to move it to another level. I don't see the need of it.
I just have a question. What would be the harm in moving it to the next level?
There's no harm that I see in moving it forward other than you're going to see any little group, whether they're representing the citizens of Wicomico County or just themselves wanting to be a commission. And then the next thing you're going to see, down here it says there's no compensation. You're going to see them wanting to get paid.
I'll be honest with you.
Well, good thing you hold the purse strings, right?
We're totally against it. Well, I'm chair. I'll put it that way.
I've seen it with this group, but been here long enough to see, that would be next.
I see a lot of our commissions, planning and zoning and women's commission and things like that, they all volunteer their time. That they are all volunteers, and I think that we have done a really great job at appointing and confirming really good people for each of those groups. We have had several of those commissions come and ask for not even a stipend for their individuals, but they would ask for something, to do a certain project that the county could help out with. Usually comes out of my community promotions line. But anyway, I really see no negative side of this. And Josh, you've been waiting so patiently, so go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I I really appreciate the hard work that you're putting together, and I've heard great things from the convening so far. I don't know that this is the avenue that you want to go. I don't know that this is the tool you want to use in order to achieve the results that you want to get. There are well more than a dozen other groups that serve exactly like yours across the county. As soon as I was elected, I immediately got the call from the Camden Community Association, who operates the exact same kind of way. They have their own groups. They have hold their meetings. There's a number of these groups here. I guess the part that I feel like is maybe not gonna get you where you want to go is that you start growing government and adding on this layer of, I don't want to say extra bureaucracy, but, I don't know if you'll be subject to Open Meetings Act or if you have to then take official meeting notes. Usually when you have these commissions.
we do.
And usually when you have to take official meeting notes, a lot of times we've traditionally had that staffed by a member of a particular, of the executive branch in order to do that, which also costs money. And it depends if I know some people volunteer the time, some people are going there, but I would think, given what you're already doing, the success that you're already having, this might not be the way to go. And but just to continue doing what you're doing and maybe double down on that. I mean, if you want to be the best voice, if the group does, and these things, by the way, these things ebb and flow. Some groups come in, some groups go out. I don't think we want to have 12 or 24 other commissions that are approved, that are supposed to be meeting, that we have to worry about staffing, that aren't actually meeting, or, once another person who's been president or chair of that commission then steps down, then we have to go back and point it. So I don't know. I just feel like if you're already getting the results that you're largely trying to go, you may not want to go in this particular direction, but look at other avenues. Certainly PAC 14 is almost always looking for content. They're looking for other folks to have on there. So I personally would think we'd probably want to resist this particular tool for this, but I do think what you're doing, what the group is doing, is fantastic, and I'd love to see them do more, but without growing government.
Can I respond to that really quick? Can you define growing government?
Can you hold on one moment?
Well, I just want to respond to him.
Normally, the procedure is for the council president or whoever to invite you up to the table. You did not do that, so if you could stand by for a minute, please. Okay. Councilman Ennis, please.
I would just
like to echo some of the things they've said, but just to emphasize, would not like to see a precedent being set. As mentioned, there could be however many homeowners associations, there could be that many groups. I do applaud what you all have done, and it's evident that you've really served the community well. Commissions are normally, I think, created to satisfy a function, like the Airport Commission, Recreations, Board of Elections, et cetera. I don't think that we've ever had one that's revolved around a geographic area. And much to what Mr. Holloway said, if you drew a borderline around the communities you've mentioned, it would look like a councilmanic district. So I would go back and make that same point. It would be, you should run for county council and run for that district, even though I know you don't.
No, thank you.
But I'm going to go down and I'm going to throw something else out. And this may be a little bit out of left field, but have you ever thought about, as far as another avenue, becoming a incorporated municipality? And that would raise that authority level. Of course, then you have taxes with that. But, that to me, thinking about what you're trying to accomplish may be a more appropriate way to elevate your autonomy and give yourselves a little bit more voice. But
that just grew government, didn't it?
Well,
bingo.
Bingo. Either way, it would be growing government. But I really, my resistance is to set a precedent so that we would have however many groups in Wicomico County. Even though I give all credit to what you've done, you do stand above the crowd as far as that voice that you already have. But I would say the same thing as Mr. Holloway, that you have been very effective with that voice, and I don't think there's anybody on this end of the table that wouldn't respond. I think we have, but anyway, that's and throw out that other idea about the incorporated municipality.
The rules and regulations that come with operating a meeting on an appointed commission, if you could do it without that, I'd run the other way.
No, I understand.
So what you're going to do is you're going to create something that's, everybody needs to follow the rules. So you're going to create something here that you're going to have to follow a lot of rules, and you're doing what you're doing now, and it's working. it seems to me, or you said it was anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like the old saying is, run the other way when government gets involved. You've got a voice.
Am I allowed to respond? Can I say?
Yeah, I'm good.
One of the things that I can say, and I agree with all of you. I honestly do. It's a win-win no matter how we do it. And one of the things that I look at is that we're talking about a precedence that we would be the first person to set the precedent, or the first group that would set the precedent. And I'm an out-of-the-box thinker, so the way you solve a problem is not the way Julie's going to solve one, James is going to solve one, so forth and so on. And in that setting, what it does is it allows us to have seriousness. You take us serious. And sometimes the things that I recognize here is that when I do make a phone call, the reason that I actually started this whole thing, and I'll just say it bluntly, is I was a pee-off, I was angry, I'll just use that word, I was an angry Westside resident that could not get service from his county. And so I had to step up to it, and I had to actually put pressure on the county. And then that's when Julie actually ran, and I actually met James, and they said, would you take this position and run it? And I didn't know who was going to get elected, and I'll be honest with you, when they said, okay, it's your turn, that's when folks started to take things serious. But I can say that there is a level of what's the word?
Respectability.
Respectability, yeah. People respect me. I mean, I don't have any problem with that, and I'm very respectful in the community as much as I can be. But just like with with Tipton State Park, we had no answers from the county at all. And so, if you really look at how we mass organized, we had the Secretary of DNR come down. We had every delegate. We had everybody that was there. And I had Mr. Merritt, I had Mr. Cannon, and all of a sudden now everybody shows up. And yes, we did get that on our own, by our own contacts, but we also, it would be a little bit more, the person that's in that chair seat that says, hey, Joe's just called us, we need to talk to him about whatever, thus and so. It brings it to a little bit more of a brighter light, if you will. I'm not a...
The reason you didn't get any answers is because the county didn't get any answers.
Correct. You're right. You're absolutely right. And we knew that. And we did have information that we were privy because we were local there. So the owner, and we did have a lot of other information much earlier. I'm not defending or disagreeing with either of you. What I'm actually saying is that it's something to think about with this new election year coming in. There's, I think Mr. Wynn's the only one that's running, if I understand it. It's Annie, yes, yep, I did see that. Everything else is a new phase. And in that new phase, now we have a different precedent. I know all of you, I can call you. I have no problem working with any of you. We may not always agree on things. Jeff and I have had those discussions. But moral of the story is that we can actually set the precedent at this point. And we're able to say, hey, wait a minute, okay, what do you expect from us and what do we expect from you? And it's really accountability to the citizens that pay the taxes. So municipality, that's a bigger government, and I can't say I don't agree with it. I know the locals down there would have been, you're on the way, you've been from the west side, so you know how it is.
I had one more thing to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you take baby steps. And I think you should, my personal recommendation would be make sure you do your geographical part and don't try to expand. But also what could happen, you could be an example for other areas that may want to do what you're doing. Instead of expanding, you could be a point of advice, like you're saying you're an advisory committee. But I don't think that you don't spread out too far. And then I think also I like to see inclusiveness in the advisory committee, because you have Mount Zion Church in Quantico. I would contact a meeting maybe with the trustees or something, and there's Header Creek Church.
Absolutely, yeah.
Talk to the pastor, Reverend Lewis. Get that connection, because that's part of the area you're talking about.
We do, yeah.
Okay,
we do have
so
it.
I would do that, and then be inclusive, because one of the problems you have down there is that camp down there, on the right, when you're coming down, you know, those trailers and all that stuff.
Yes, it's Lucky 7. Yeah, we have, and those are actually, there's very good points. And I will say this, the churches get all their fish from me. So,
Selfish.
I'm not putting a plug in, but I'm just basically saying the connections are very strong. And they're very long.
But I'm just saying,
yeah.
I mean, make sure you're inclusive, have a member, or make sure you send a letter or something to make sure, because as you said, if you've done your duty and they don't respond, you know you've done your duty.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
May I add one thing, like at this point? So I understand how your council meeting works, but as the county executive, I feel that anything, any topic, I should be able to come up here because I send them over to you. This is something that is important to me. It's something that I have been working with this organization for the last 2 years. Josh, I disagree with you that this is growing government. Growing government means you're spending money and creating positions. These are volunteers. So creating a new commission is not growing government. Like, that's just not the definition of growing government. Creating an entire department that costs the county taxpayers money, I'm just saying, I just wholeheartedly disagree. I think this is a great step for Wicomico County, and I hope an East Side task force is formed. And I will tell you, when you are looking at a county holistically, and Mr. Cannon's not here, but James does this, looks at the county holistically, and not that you all don't, but you have a district that you focus on. District 2, or the west side of this community, the problems are completely different than what the east side has. And so it was imperative to have that, and your district is huge, just geographically is huge. It's not saying you can't do it, but it is a huge district. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for these gentlemen, and well, women too, that have come forward as community leaders. And I really think you're doing a disservice to not move this forward as something. If it's not hurting anything, and this is a direction they want to go, and they want to have meeting minutes, and they want to have those be a part of our county government, I really think that we're doing a disservice by putting our opinions and saying, we don't think it's a good idea. Your entire district wants this to happen. So I just want you to keep that in mind when you're going forward with this. I hope the East Side decides to do it. I hope your West Side decides to do this, because they are our voices. They are the people that are coming forward to tell you what those issues are. Why would we not want them here in council chambers? Why would we not want them on PAC 14? Why would we not want them creating minutes and putting them out there for people to see? You know, it's about transparency, honestly. I'm just, regardless of what happens, I am proud of this group. I am proud of Captain Joe Lappin. He has taken such a leadership role, and taking it to this next level just seemed like the right step.
Being you pointed at me a few times, everything you said, they're already doing. They can already do. They can do it all, what you just said. They can do minutes. They can go on PAC 14. They can use this chambers.
So what's the problem?
Am I correct about that? The chambers? Yeah.
We typically have, county agencies and departments use council chambers. I'm not going to say that an outside agency hasn't ever used it, because it has, but on a regular basis, we try to use the
with permission
county
from the
departments.
executive or the council, they could probably use it, correct?
I would think so.
Yeah. So you're doing everything you want. I don't know why you want government involved.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't, I mean,
well,
like the old saying, I'm here to help. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you.
Yeah,
that's
and that's actually kind of the reverse thinking, because we're here to keep you in check.
Yeah.
And I'm saying you. I'm not singling you out, but I'm just saying government.
Yeah.
I'm saying government. We're here to actually keep you in check. So, and Jeff and I'll say Jeff and I have sat down and we've had numerous conversations on issues down on the west side. James actually brought this seafood ordinance bill. Julie signed it for us, or not bill, but the legislation for that. You offered to put us in with the Department of, with the agriculture, with the farmers. And believe it or not, it's actually a bigger accomplishment than we think, because it's the first time in history in the state of Maryland, and it was actually smart.
Sense.
It set the precedence, because it's the first time that watermen and farmers now came together. And at first I didn't realize it, and then all of a sudden I recognized it, and I thought, wait a minute, on a county level, this is really good. So now Somerset's looking at what we're doing. So it's a win-win.
I'll just say real quick that obviously I spent 15 years working and helping run nonprofits across the state, and we can't expect business and government to solve all the problems. And in fact, we really shouldn't, because they're not great at solving problems. But these other groups, these tertiary groups that come together, the third sector, these independent groups, that is the way to go. I'll tell you what you don't want is you don't want to have to go through the process where you have to then go train your members to go send them to Mako conference or whatever it is to get the Open Meetings Act training. You have to go through the training. Once you go through the training, then you got to make sure that you're following all the training. So other people that come around and say, you know what, I showed up to his meeting and they weren't doing this, and so then they're gonna have to call their council member. They're gonna have to call the county executive's office. Once you get those meetings minutes put together, well, guess what? They don't just magically fly onto the website. You got to then have a government person then go and type them in, stick them into these systems. So for the love of God, don't go government. It's not going to help you. If you want, it sounds like you're already achieving what you want to achieve. I think you can do a whole lot more by doubling down on what you're already doing. And from the nonprofit perspective, from the folks, from that other perspective of folks who actually get things done in other ways, I think just keep doing what you're doing. You're already getting it done. Don't weigh yourself down with this path. So yeah, that's just my view.
Joe, I'll hopefully wrap this up. You guys are doing great work. I enjoy our conversations. We've talked about everything from osprey nests on the Verizon tower to broken dock boards and lights that don't work and state parks and everything down there. And I enjoy our conversations. You guys are doing great work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not in favor of this. We've got another group down there, Westside Neighborhood Alliance.
Yeah.
They're doing great work as well. I think we're going to be setting a precedent by doing this. I think it's going to slow things down. The not costing anything. If you meet here after hours like we are right now, somebody has to sit downstairs at the security desk and he's not working for free. Somebody has to input the minutes. Nothing's free. So it will be some kind of a cost, but I encourage you to keep meeting, keep growing your effort, and keep doing the good work you're doing, because you're raising the issues. I don't know anybody up here that has not taken a call from anybody down there and acted on something. So, anybody else have anything?
I'm sorry the deadline is passed for filing, because I'm ready to start the enlisto lapping for county council.
No, sir. No, sir. I'd rather
we can start for 2030 if you would like.
No, sir. I'd rather build the bridges. Yes, that's what I'm better at.
District 2 will have James. He'll be okay.
When is your meetings?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
When is your meetings?
So it'll be next Tuesday. It's at 6 o'clock. And we are on Facebook. We post all our minutes and everything on it. Westside Community Task Force. And we serve everybody in the community. We don't really care where you come from or what you are.
Yeah. So I guess Jeff brought up something I hadn't thought of. So if you were going to meet in the evenings, who was going to pay for the security downstairs?
It's a good point, and those things are and I'll be honest with you, you guys are really bringing some lights to certain things, and trust me, I'll think about it, and like I said, it's a win-win either way. I'm just kind of asking for permission that if there's some things that the council in itself can help us improve our job to connect with you. And that was one of the things that I had, Jeff, and I won't carry him along any longer, but Jeff and I had talked about one of the things that I do is I bring your constituents to you. And instead of having to deal with 40 emails and 60 phone calls, I say, Jeff, we had a meeting, 20 people showed up, here's the common complaint. And here's the minutes, and you can get it. And Jeff's been very familiar with it.
Appreciate it.
So.
Well, and just one last comment, and if they want to meet at night, that's fine, but there is a way to mitigate all of that, which is if they met during the day, we're already paying for lights, we're already paying for security, and if they had an officer that was a secretary, they would do minutes, and then where the county portion would be in, is they would email the minutes to IT, who would take 3 minutes to put them on the website. So there would be a way to mitigate everything you said with, in terms of money. But, you know, the will of the council is pretty obvious here, so I don't know that we need to engage in further conversation.
Well, and there's wisdom for us. I mean, I look at it as wisdom. I really do. You've given me another track. No is not no to me, trust me.
So if you bring it uptown here in Salisbury, you're representing the west side down the road. Transportation's a problem, so anybody want to come. Some people can't come to
Yeah, we get them. We'll get them. Trust me, we're old school.
I mean, you're supposed to be representing the west side of the.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to meet here. You can.
No, we can, and we can still hold our meetings down there. It's just like, usually, I'll give you a good example, and I really want to cut this off for you guys, but like Cove Road was a major debacle. It really was. It was bad. And the county really, you know, between what was sold and what was not. So anyway, long story short, when we have a big event like that, or Long Hill, that can take place here. And that's something that anybody can come to our meetings now. But that's something that is a locale, and certainly we would bring anybody. We're old school, so we pick folks up.
And Bunky, when you said we used to meet, the traffic commission used to meet in 302? Is it 302 or 303? Instead of you don't have to meet in here.
But it's wisdom, so I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
All right. No further discussion. All those in favor of Resolution 48, 2026?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. Should we do a roll call, or?
No, I think we're good.
We're good? Okay. It's 5-1.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, next is a submission of an appointment to the Water and Sewer Technical Advisory Committee by Mr. Stephen Lakin, Assistant Director of Administration.
Evening.
Mr. Vice President, council members, good evening. Excuse me. Steve Lakin, Assistant Director of Administration. County Executive recommends this evening the appointment of Stephen L. Marsh, P.E., to the Water and Sewer Technical Advisory Committee, and I'm formally submitting his credentials for your consideration. Committee aims to guide the implementation of the county's water and sewer master plan, ensuring adequate water supply, efficient wastewater collection and treatment, compliance with environmental standards, and provide expert recommendations on infrastructure development and addressing septic system challenges.
For your consideration is Resolution Number 49-2026. This is confirming the appointment of Stephen L. Marsh, P.E., as a member of the Water and Sewer Technical Advisory Committee.
I'll entertain a motion from council to approve Resolution Number 49-2026.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question. I've read, his resume, great resume. I mean, couldn't think of anybody any better to bring in front of us. But my question is, due to his employment at the company that he works for, I won't mention that, over a period of time, we're going to have different architects and engineers working on this project, because we're talking about a 20 or 30 year, of course he may be gone, what happens if they're trying to bid on something and this one company is trying to bid on it and he's working there?
Well,
how does that work?
Yeah, I can answer that two ways. First of all, we've had other people that we brought before you, most namely the person who withdrew, and I don't recall that being an issue with that individual. So that would be my first response. The second response would be that if there's a vote, he could simply recuse himself on that occasion if there was something that was being contemplated entering into an agreement with his company.
Well, that's, like I say, it's a great resume. There's no doubt about that. I just wondered how that's going to affect us in the future. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, and we have, not just on this commission, but we have lots of members of the public who volunteer their time and serve on commissions who have corporate affiliations that potentially there could be conflicts that arise. So again, in my time here, I don't recall that ever being a consideration.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of Resolution 49-2026, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
That's all I have, Mr. Vice President.
Okay. At this time, we open the floor for public comments. If you have any comments you'd like to make, come to the podium, state your name and your county of residence and your concerns. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Evening, folks. Joe Venosa, District 7, Wicomico County. I wanted to first sing the praises of many of our elected officials who were kind enough and passionate enough to come to the Save Our Services rally that was held this past Saturday, February 28th, at West Gordy Road. As many of you know, the governor's current budget calls for a $155 million cut to the Department of Disability Administration, DDA. This essentially puts some of our most vulnerable families on the Eastern Shore, and particularly in Wicomico County, in a really tough position, because if these cuts do go through, they're going to impact the services that people with severe disabilities can get. This includes both special needs children as well as adults, and it puts an incredible burden on the families. I don't have to tell you, but I will. It's been that kind of a meeting tonight, that essentially if services are cut, this really could force a lot of families to have no recourse but to institutionalize their loved ones. As a history teacher who teaches the history of disability rights, this is a particular concern that I have, also just being the parent of an autistic child. And so it warmed my heart that there were people across the political spectrum, from the sheriff to Councilman Hastings to Representative Sample Hughes, who were there for broad advocacy. And on that note, I want to give a special shout out to Cody Stevens, who helped organize it from his nonprofit, the Anchor Initiative. They do tremendous work. We had the opportunity to interview them today on Open Agenda. I encourage you to check out the episode. It's really great for a series of services that people in the community need. Regarding that, I also just want to say that it's great that people came together regardless of party and ideology for people. I think that's what our county needs most of all, is not Republicans or Democrats, but whether you're in office now or running for office, think of the fact that your neighbors, your family members are people. They're humans first. They're not Republicans or Democrats or independents, right? They are people, and it is an incredibly touching thing to see. So thank you for that. I would perhaps ask the council if they'd be willing to write a letter in opposition to the planned cuts. I believe other councils are doing that. So it's just a request that I and others have had. I don't know if that's possible. Second part, Joe Lappin and other people on the Westside do a tremendous job. It's great work. I have concerns that the proposal, and I'm glad that the council voted down the issue tonight with the Westside Community Task Force. From my view, it looks like this is just an election season kabuki theater. Mr. Wynn is running for re-election. The executive is clearly trying to help him, as she even stated. And so it really doesn't look good for the community when one portion of the county is given preferential treatment over others. As many of you said, if you give it to one geographic area, you give it to all. Maybe just be a really good representative for everybody that asks you for help. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
Well, 3 minutes, I got a lot to say, and that's going to be tough, but anyway, Captain Joe Lappin, Wicomico County, first of all, I'd like to thank all you guys for hearing us out on that, on the task force, and I will say that it adds wisdom, and it adds insight to what we see going on. The second thing that I want to bring to light is that we didn't have anybody show up for prayer. And I remember that Josh actually made a comment that a moment of silence was a moment of removing God. And in that, removing God, I always say that the name of the name of Christ is going to be in the mouth of the people, and I'm going to basically do that at this moment. But I want to take it from Scripture like I've always done in the past. In 1 Kings chapter 18, Elijah basically called the prophets of Baal. And he told them to basically show us who your God is. And when he did that, and long story short, basically what he did was he gave them the opportunity to pray. and call down their God. And unfortunately, in the 26th verse, he basically said, but there was no voice, and absolutely nobody answered. And tonight you had no voice. So tonight I'm going to actually offer a prayer so you guys can bow your head. First of all, Lord, I want to thank you for the council chambers and the council members for their wisdom and their input in not only particularly the Westside's concerns and the things that we do, but Lord, just for all people. And Father, I just want to thank you for everybody that's here in the community and the unity. And Father, we ask that you continue to shed your light and your hand over us in all things. And Lord, I just thank you for your presence in all things that we do. Another thing on this Westside Community Task Force, one of the things that I want to point out is that you guys had discussed Resolution 46-2026, approving the priority letter to Maryland Department of Transportation. And one of the things that Mr. Atkins brought up was that he wants you guys to consider the Bering Creek Road. And what I want you to consider as the public is to understand that Mr. Atkins is running for a seat. So on the Bering Creek Road issue, that's something that is probably going to be looked at as a bias in that particular setting. And that bias means that if he is elected in that particular case, then he has a bias already in the seat as a council member, and he also has a bias in speaking about the community. What I will say as a Westside Community Task Force member is that I have talked to a lot of the community and a lot of the constituents over there, and one of the things that I can say is it's a pretty unanimous split down the middle. But what I would like to implore you guys is to ask, where has all the money been in that particular setting, and where has it gone, and what we've done with it so far? And that's something that the task force actually will be asking the questions about. So we're still doing well, and we have wisdom, and I thank you for that, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Jim Atkins, Wicomico County. Didn't plan on speaking, but I am running for council. Bering Creek Road is probably one of the biggest disadvantages I have in District 2 because I am against Bering Creek Road. My reason for being against Bering Creek Road is very simple. In 2018, the County Council budgeted $350,000 for Bering Creek Road. The county bonded $500,000, took out a loan for $500,000. So they had $850,000 in 2018. The estimated cost to put the road back was $400,000 to $600,000. We are in 2026. What happened to the $850,000? We have been paying interest on a loan and a bond for 9 years because we borrowed $500,000, but we haven't done anything with it. How many people in this room have borrowed $500,000 and just paid the interest on it every year and not used it for something? So that is why I'm against Bering Creek Road. You've wasted money. You've had 3 county executives, Bob Culver, John Pasota, and Julie Giordano, who have had the funding for Bering Creek Road. They have had the plans and drawings for Bering Creek Road. They had the permits from the state of Maryland for Bering Creek Road. And what have they done? Not a damn thing. So, okay, I'm against Bering Creek Road. I'm against this county wasting money every day. You've wasted over $400,000 on Bering Creek Road, and you haven't put a shovel in the ground. You had permits. You didn't put the road back. So if we want to talk about me and running for election, then that's why I'm against Bering Creek Road. I'm a Democrat, but I am a fiscal conservative. And I'm tired of this county wasting money. If you want to spend some money, spend it on schools, spend it on security, spend it on sports for high school kids. But don't keep wasting money on a road that doesn't do a thing for a person in this county, and don't come in here and lie every year and say that the fire departments need it, because they don't. Don't say the Board of Education needs it, because the superintendent will come in here and tell you he doesn't. He has told the county executive he doesn't want it. So don't come in here and spread lies.
Thank you.
Good evening, Robert Taylor, County resident. Can you imagine somebody running for office that has a bias? I mean, holy moly. I mean, where did this guy come from? I applaud Mr. Adkins for speaking his views. And I looked at his website. I'm not in his district, but I look at everybody's website, and he's got a very good one. And he speaks what he wants on there. And that's what we need in people who run. That's not what I came to speak to. I do want to give a shout out. You all gave a lot of shout outs to the police, fire, public works. I think DP&L deserves a bit of a shout out too. At least in my case, our power was off for less than a day. They came pretty quickly. Maybe everybody didn't have that good of an experience, but they had a lot of work to do. I do want to bring you up to date on some of the Wicomico County bills that are in the General Assembly. I'll start with the Orphans Court salary increase. It's about a 35% increase, as I recall. The two bills were not filed in time, and by that I mean they don't automatically go to the committee that would normally hear them. They go to the Rules Committee in the House and the Senate, and then they get distributed from that committee to the committee that would hear them. They're still in the Rules Committee. We're now past the halfway point in Annapolis this year. They may not come up. I'm just pointing that out. I could be wrong. What I call the booze bills, I'm speaking about the Class A license, divorcing the restaurants, etc. One of those has been out of committee now. Pardon me, they've both been heard by committee, but neither has come out of committee. They're two different bills. The Senate bill is somewhat different from the House bill, so goodness knows what's going to happen. They may be getting a little late in the day too, but they did get filed in time. They have gotten their normal committee hearings. Let me see, is there anything else? Yeah, the CAFO bill, you might be interested in that, the chicken CAFO bill. One of those came out of committee late last week with some amendments. It looks like that's probably going to go through. It looks like they're on fast track. They're emergency bills. So most likely, people who want to build poultry houses will be able to proceed, even though the general CAFO bill that the state has with the feds has expired. It's been administratively extended, and the legislation would allow construction to continue under the old bill, the old general bill that's been extended. So that's kind of a rundown on what I guess are the three most significant bills for the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Monica Brooks, President of Wicomico County NAACP. What an eventful night. I do want to echo about the bills. We have been in Annapolis the last few weeks testifying. Very disappointed that we didn't have more pushback from the county about that CAFO bill. We testified against it. They kind of want to do some back and forth, even talking about these amendments and things, but it's absolutely absurd to allow this industrial agriculture to be able to move forward in building a $500,000, $2 million project or what have you without a discharge permit. That discharge permit is for the protection and safety of our community, the water, the land, and the idea that you can build this. What happened was this was because of MDE. MDE didn't have their stuff together. Some things lagged, and so because of that, which has been remedied, they're making a permanent long-term decision to try to push forward on these CAFO buildings. The Senate, it's not come out of Senate. Hopefully it will not push forward, but it would be great if you all could speak against this, because it's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous to let that. We did also testify against that liquor bill, and I know that's not moving forward. And also assisted in the bill that from Delegate Sample Hughes that allows students, particularly those who are disadvantaged and even some of our homeless youth, to get alternative means of transportation. So if they want to participate in after school, there was a sunset, meaning that the previous bill was expiring. But they're making this longer so that these students can not have to, if there's not enough students for a bus, they can still use alternate transportation, so these kids can also participate. So very happy about that. We have some other things coming up. Clean slate bill today, testimony went forward for that, for expungements for people that have older records, lighter things, that those are not being held against them for housing, employment, things like that. And there's a few other things coming up that we'll be testifying for next week. But I just encourage the community. You can reach out to NAACP. We can help you to know what is out there. And any citizen can testify. You don't have to be an organization. You don't have to have a title. You can testify even virtually. You can come to Annapolis, or you can do it virtually, or you can just write. They take written testimony as well. And it's when we come to Annapolis, they always say, wow, you all came all the way from the Eastern Shore. Mm-hmm. It carries a lot of weight. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
Good evening, everyone. Megan Outen, Wicomico County resident, District 7. I didn't plan on speaking, but I just wanted to offer some different perspective on the Westside Advisory Committee. And this is not to really discuss on whether or not that committee should exist, but just to talk about what I think the committee existing is a symptom of, which is our residents feeling disconnected. Residents that feel heard do not feel called to create an action committee. They do not feel called to create a task force. And I think that this is a sign that our residents genuinely feel disconnected. So I just want to make a call to action for the council to really reconsider, are we meeting the residents where they are? Are we meeting them out in the community? Are we expecting them to just be able to come out to every council meeting to engage with us? Are we really boots on the ground, engaging with them and meeting them where they are? I think that this is an opportunity for us to really step up as a county and hopefully, find a new and creative ways for us to engage with our residents. So thank you.
Any more public comment? Council comments? Shane, you want to go first?
I just want to say I'm going to be short tonight. I just want the community to pray for our servicemen in Iran. Pray for the families that lost their children, the family members, the 6, and maybe more. Pray for the parents that lost the girls' school that was blown up. And I also pray that this war will end soon, because it's touching my heart, because my great-grandson's mother is in the National Guard. And she was called up for a month's training instead of 2 weeks. And she's in artillery. So I pray for her every night that she doesn't get called to go over there. So I just think that we need prayer in this country, if nothing else. It's heartbreaking and heart-rending when you see the news that you have to turn it off. They spent $144 million on weapons and guns for ICE and cut the budget for other things that people need. So it is election year. and I recommend you to vote for your choice. I am rerunning, and I do always welcome opponents because it makes you work harder, but whoever you vote for, just get out and vote. I just think you should get out and vote, and then whoever wins, we should support them. That's how I've always been, support the one that wins. I will always work in my community when I can. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Shady. Joe?
What I'd like to talk about tonight is I want to echo what a lot of folks said at the podium and the proclamations that was given to our county employees, Sheriff's Department, and Public Works, landfill. But I do want to give a shout out to a lot of the local farmers on the east side, and I'm sure they were doing the same thing on the south side of the county and the west side of the county, to the farmers that went out and helped clear the roads, push trees out of the snow. Wasn't as much trouble as it was the trees down in the road. And so a lot of our local farmers and just citizens with the tractors got out and did that. So we want to thank them too. I got a call yesterday from a local minister thanking me and the rest of the council for working out the Lord's Prayer issue. And I said, well, thank you for thanking us, and we really appreciate it. We got it taken care of. Well, it didn't work out too good tonight. I would suggest when the council president gets back, we have a discussion. Maybe if somebody doesn't show up, I think it's a good thing the way we set it up. That's fine. But if somebody doesn't show up, like happened tonight, that we offer that opportunity to a person in the audience to get up and say a prayer. Like Mr. Lappin's here tonight, and I'm sure there's other people here that would may fill in. If they didn't, then we'd do the moment of silence. So maybe we can talk about that. For those people that don't enjoy snow, don't put your shovels away. I was looking at some pictures I had.
Come on.
I've got a lot of historical pictures, and in 1921, April 11th, Salisbury had 9 inches of snow. So if you want to say a prayer, pray for that. Pray for no more snow. So anyway, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Josh?
So thank you all for tuning in and for coming here today. Regarding our prayer situation, we actually did have, the individual did show up. Just saw her come in, but we had already moved on, so she ended up leaving. But she did stay here for a little bit, but yeah, still got to be on time. As far as the, I do want to say congrats to all of the new candidates all the folks who decided to file for office. We just had the filing deadline a week ago, and so it was really great to see. In Wicomico County, I think we probably had more people file per capita than probably anywhere in the state. You look at us compared to neighboring Worcester County, and there's just vacancies all over the space, or there's people not running. Dorchester County, I heard, literally nobody even signed up to run for state's attorney. Anyone who would have filed their name would have automatically been the state's attorney, but no one even filed. So, but that's just here locally. So we only had one school board meeting. That was the only thing we didn't get anyone filing for that. But otherwise, I just want to say really kudos to all the folks who chose to run. Many of the folks are in the audience here. I really do appreciate you all stepping up, and for all the families that are trying to support those individuals who want to serve. I really appreciate that. And then last thing I did want to say, I did want to echo the comments regarding the Save Our Services. There was an event, Pohanka hosted an event this past, I think it was Saturday, and this is regarding the self-directed care and the cuts that are happening in the state. I do think it would be nice if the council put forth a letter to acknowledge this. I think the hearings are coming up pretty quickly. I think have to get testimony in by Thursday. But regardless, that would be really helpful. That's an important issue, and it was a heck of a turnout over a completely packed room. So. Anyway, with that, I'll just say thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Josh.
I would say, how can we move forward with that letter if there's a strict deadline?
If you guys would like to do a consensus tonight, that would make the process much quicker.
Okay. I'd be good with that, I think. Yeah. Take a consensus? Okay.
Yes.
We good?
Good.
Okay.
You can get with it. All right.
Thank you.
Get another problem, Josh.
James, is that all you got?
That's it. I just want to make sure I got that out of the way.
Okay. All right. David, you good?
One short thing. The Circuit Court upheld the Planning and Zoning Appeals Board on the biorefinery topic, which I think is good. Probably pretty good news, and kudos to, I actually sat on the Planning and Zoning Appeals Board on that case, but the Planning and Zoning Appeals, or the Planning and Zoning Board, as well as the Law Department, Mr. Illuminati, I think handled the case very well, and so hopefully that's the end to that.
They can appeal that, though, right?
They can.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Okay. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We're really glad the snowstorm's over with, and again, thank you to all of our county departments who worked hand in hand for many hours, as Mr. Corey alluded to, with not much rest, in very, very tough weather conditions. So hopefully we won't see that again for quite some time. And that's all I got. Mrs. Hurley, we adjourn now.
You do.
Okay.
Adjourn as the county.
We need to adjourn and convene as the Urban Services Commission.
Take a 5-minute break.
Do I do a motion first? And then-
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion to enter into closed work session.
You need the motion to adjourn as the county council and convene as the Urban Services Commission.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn as county council and reconvene as the Urban Services Commission.
I'll give you a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff, you
Okay.
take 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
You want 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let the room clear out.
Yeah.
We're convening as the Urban Services Commission. I'll entertain a motion to enter into closed work session.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
You have to read the motion.
All right. To adjourn from open work session pursuant to general provisions, Article Section 3-305B8, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation to protect the county's and Urban Services Commission legal position. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Now we'll go into closed work session.